Today we're going to talk about a question that I get asked 30 times a day. How fast can you close? And my answer to that is always the same. My team can close incredibly fast. 99% of our pre-approvals are already fully underwritten. All I need to close is the appraisal and the title work. Okay? And so people are like, oh my gosh, can you close in 15 days then? And I'm like, probably not. Here's why. So what I'm seeing across the country, and in some markets, it's a lot more painful. The same supply and demand issue that we have with housing, we also have with appraisers. So I always make sure, I always want my clients to have the best chance of success. So we always order the appraisal day one, okay? Now there would be a couple exceptions to that. One would be with FHA, we do need you to sign disclosures, or if there's something going on where perhaps you're not committed to buying the house, we may hold off at that point or at your realtor's direction. But in every other circumstance, we're ordering that appraisal day one. And so what I'll get is, okay, can you guarantee it back in 7 days? Nope. No. I mean, here's what I can do. I can order the appraisal and ask for it to be back in 7 days. I can offer extra money to have it back faster. The appraiser can accept that order and accept the extra money and say, sure, I'll have it back in 7 days. But what we're seeing a lot of right now is we're seeing appraisers, appraisal management companies accepting orders and not performing. Yeah, not performing. And this isn't every market, you know, it's really market by market. So like Florida's brutal right now. There's parts of Texas which are a little brutal right now. You know, rural areas are really struggling pretty much everywhere because what appraisers are doing is they're cherry picking to a large extent. So here's the thing, you're an appraiser, you're in demand. You could go to a house that's super easy to find comparable sales that's right by your house, or you could go 3 miles away and do a house that doesn't really have a lot of things similar to it. Which one are you going to choose? Right? You're going to take the easy one. Okay. Now, in terms of the easy ones, let's say there's 75 of those. Okay. What's happening is we're seeing a lot of people go, yes, 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 I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And they're charging a lot of money. I mean, I've seen appraisals as high as $2,000 on a $200,000 house. Yeah. No joke. No joke. And so they're accepting the orders, and then what can happen is the day that it's due, we're like, yes, it's due, great. Hey, where's the appraisal? We haven't seen it. Oh yeah, about that, I need 10 more days. What? You accepted our order as a rush, we're paying you extra money, you said you could have it back by this date, we promised everyone this date, and now you're saying 10 more days. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, we have no recourse, none. The Appraisal Independence Act, we have zero recourse, nothing. So we have two choices at that point. We can either wait or we can try to assign it to a new appraiser, and then you're taking that whole risk again. Now, if this first appraiser already went to the property, even though they have 100% let us down, they've 100% let the client down, they've 100% let down the seller, they've let everyone down, right? If they've been out to the property, they can still charge us, even though they didn't perform. That's not right. That's not right. You know, a lot of these things get passed and get put into, you know, legislation and whatnot because they're meant to do good for the buyers. You know, the Appraiser Independence Act was designed so that appraisers wouldn't have undue pressure on them. So they wouldn't be, you know, told, hey, if you don't give me the value, I won't pay you. Stuff like that. It wasn't so that they could rip people off. Okay, and I hate saying it because like I have clients who are appraisers, I have friends who are appraisers, and a lot of them are wonderful people and they do the best that they can. And they're just trying to, help as many people as they can, but it's a supply and demand issue, okay? And there's those people who are good appraisers who are just doing the best they can. You know, I was talking to one of them who was telling me, he's like, Jen, I'm working 17 hours a day. Like, I'm doing everything I can, but it's just so much business. And you know, there are appraisers like that, but there's also appraisers who are just taking orders with high dollar amounts and not performing, and then taking their sweet time because they know they can. Yeah, they don't care. If you say like, hey, and I'm not allowed to talk to appraisers directly because I'm a licensed loan originator, and that would be a big no-no. But if the realtors, because often the real estate agents will call them and just be like, hey, like, we need help. They're like, yeah, I can't do it. It's gonna be 5 more days. And you're like, well, is there any way like they could lose $10,000? No, get an extension. Seriously. And it's really dark. And so for buyers, it can be really frustrating because everyone's like, how is this even possible? And I have to tell you that as someone in the industry, I have hit my head up against a wall on that nonstop for a year, nonstop. And look, it's not every market. There's a lot of markets where we order the appraisal, we get it back within 7 days. There's zero drama. It's beautiful. VA appraisals, I think, are the reason I didn't have a mental breakdown last year from how traumatizing appraisals are. And that's because VA holds the appraisers accountable. The appraisers have to get it back within a certain period of time. They're monitoring this, and if the appraisers, you know, don't do a good job, VA will kick them off their list. Whereas with the rest of us, for conventional, you can't. The good news is that most real estate agents in markets where there are these type of troubles, they are aware of it. So that's a good thing. If you guys are trying to buy a house and you're like, oh, my lender says I can close in 20 days, and the real estate agent is saying, well, your lender may be quick, but the problem is the appraisers around here are taking 45 to 60 days. It's true. You know, we are seeing that in certain parts of the country. There's a part of California right now where literally it is 45 to 60 days on a purchase. We could offer them all the money in the world, but the bottom line is there's only 2 appraisers. If there's only 2 appraisers and no one else will go into that area and it's a hotbed of activity, that's what happens. So huge supply and demand issue with appraisers. I'm seeing a lot of abuse in terms of promising to do things and not performing. It's always heartbreaking for the client. It's always tough on the real estate agents. It's literally last year at one point, I hired someone who spent their entire day just following up, you know, because we have an appraisal department that handles all of the ordering and whatnot just to make sure we're within compliance. But they would be literally following up with them saying, are we actually going to get this? Are we actually going to get this? Are we actually going to get this? And the reason is we would get to the due date of when it was supposed to be due, and then we would hear, oh yeah, I need 2 more weeks. Crazy times. Crazy, crazy times. So when you're asking how quick can you close, the biggest factor right now in the country is how fast are the appraisers in your market moving. Thanks for watching.